Hey, teacher friends, welcome to my Facebook Live. I'm so excited to have y'all here today. So, this is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait to share my back to school boot camp with you and show you all the fabulousness that it has. So, come on in and introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and what grade you're going to be teaching in the fall. And let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know. We have a lot of new people in our Facebook group. And so my name is Kara Rickman. I am a 25-year veteran teacher turned coach, mentor, and trainer to help teachers just like you turn into helping teaching cross-curricular, helping teach with the gradual release of responsibility. And you are in for a treat. So I am here to support you. I'm here to help you start the new year with less stress and no mess. Okay, so my boot camp hopefully is going to help you do those things. Okay, so come on in and tell us where you're from. Tell us what grade you're going to be teaching in the fall. And I teach first grade. I am a full-time teacher. Still full-time in the classroom, and I've taught first grade for 25 years, and I love first grade. I feel like it's my passion, it's my calling, and I love helping teachers get started with their classroom procedures and rules and get started with the first 10 days of school. So that's why I'm here today. So let's see who all is commenting. So hello, Natalie. Hello, Barbara. Barbara is from Minnesota? Minnesota, teaching kindergarten. Hello, Sandra. Hello, Natalie. Hey, Janina. I know Janina's from Texas. She teaches kindergarten. Sandra is from California, teaching first grade. And Natalie is from Oklahoma, teaching first grade. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Yay. So glad to have you ladies with us today. So, hello, Debbie. I'm so glad you're here. She is from British Columbia. Oh, she teaches second and third grade split. Okay, great. That's awesome. So I want you guys, we're going to do a lot of communicating today and a lot of commenting today. I have a lot of questions to ask y'all. I'm going to be selecting one free winner module to win one module today, okay? So I have 9 different modules that I'm going to share with you. And one of you lucky ladies is going to win a free module into my boot camp, okay? So you guys just keep on commenting, and if you're new here, welcome. So glad to have new faces in our Facebook group. So there's a couple of links that I've already attached in the comments for you guys. Just for showing up live today, I have a free gift for y'all, okay? So this is your free gift. So if you scroll all the way up to the very, very top of the comments, and there is a link that says free back to school checklist. Okay, so it is a Google Drive file, so you guys can download this checklist. It has got 10 different checklists on it. Okay, every single thing that I teach in the classroom is on these checklists. So I've got a classroom organization setup checklist, all the things that I use to organize my classroom and set up my classroom, all my systems, okay? There is a reader's workshop checklist that has all my materials on all my supplies that I use for reader's workshop, okay? There is literacy center checklist, okay? All of my centers are listed. I have 20 centers, okay? And so if you decide you want to register for the literacy center module, you're going to get all of this good stuff, okay? Every module is great, but there's a checklist for my centers. There's a checklist for the Meet the Teacher Night, okay? So all of the things that I use for Meet the Teacher Night, all the things that I use for Parent Night, which is my open house night, okay? There's also a checklist for Writer's Workshop and Math Workshop and Science and Social Studies, okay? So you guys look in the comments and you can download the freebie for you guys today. It's something brand new that I just created for you guys, just for watching and coming on live. So if you notice on the checklist after you download them and you look at them and you're like, oh, I wonder what she uses this for, you can always ask questions in the Facebook group and then you can ask me what I use it for. Or if you would like to get more information, you can always register for the module that you're interested in, because each module is sold separately. Okay, they're only $5. Each module is $5. That's low cost. Okay, so this boot camp might be for you if you are a brand new teacher, or you are new to kindergarten, first grade, or second grade. And a lot of my things that I'm going to tell you is also easily differentiated for third grade as well. Okay, if you need some new or fresh ideas to start the new year, I'm your gal. Okay, or if you want to start the year with less stress and no mess and not be stressed out, that's for sure, right? So here's what research says. I did a little research today because I wanted to know what is the percentage of teachers that leave the profession after 1 year of teaching. Okay, because I know that a lot of good teachers are leaving the profession because they're very stressed out, they're very overwhelmed, they're overworked, they're unappreciated. Okay, so this is what I found. About 10% of new teachers quit teaching after their first year. Okay, about 30% of teachers quit teaching within the first 3 years. Wow. And then about 50% of teachers quit teaching within the first 5 years. Oh my gosh, that is so high. That is really, really sad. And so there's a lot of teachers that are leaving the classroom. Why do you think that is the reason? Okay, so here's your first challenge. In the comments, I want you to think about why do you think teachers are leaving the classroom. You're going to tell me one of your biggest back to school stressors. Okay, now just be honest. Okay, be honest and tell me what stresses you out the most. Just tell me something that you do not look forward to, okay, that stresses you out. So while you guys are doing that, you can think about something to comment, okay? And then I'm going to tell you my story. How did I get to this point? So like I said, I've been teaching for 25 years, okay? This might resonate with you. I started my first year teaching in January of 2000, okay? So I started in first grade. I started in January. So this class that I took over had already had a teacher. They already had all of their rules and procedures set and everything, and they really loved her. She was a great person. And I had to come in and kind of like smooth over the transition, okay? So I was fresh out of college. I had just graduated from college, and then I started in January. So I was very stressed because I was starting in the middle of the year. But let me tell you, if it wasn't for my team, my first grade team, that helped me through my first semester teaching, I would not be here today. My team was so supportive. They were understanding that they were not critical. They were not judgmental. They were such good motivators for me, and they were my cheerleaders. I cannot tell you how great of a team they were. Plus, I had a really supportive family. My family supported me. My mom came and helped me set up my classroom during Christmas break, and I felt like I was very supported. Now, if I did not have that support system, I would not be the teacher that I am today. So that's what I want to be for you guys, okay? I want to be that support system for you. And you can tell in the picture, my room's kind of bare, but you know what? My kids still learned. They still had a great time. They succeeded. They grew. And by the end of the year in May, I felt like I accomplished something. So it was a great year, and I had really good kids. So if I can do it, you can do it too. But here's the thing. You need a good support system. So that's what I want to be for you guys. Okay. So let's see what you guys are saying about what the biggest stressors are. So Janina says, admin not being supportive. We are getting a new principal this year. Oh, I know. That can be very, very hard. I think my school has been through like 4 or 5 different principals in the last 15 years. So I know how you feel. Barbara says, all the wasted time in professional development, give me time to work in my room. Amen, sister. Preach. I love it. Yes, give me time to work in my room. That's what I need, right? I feel like we have to like overcompensate for the time that we are in PD. And that's why I really appreciate having online PD, because then you can do it whenever you want to. and then you can spend more time in your room. Let's see. Al says, moving classrooms and teaching in a new school. Yes. Teaching in a new school can be stressful, very stressful. Good. All right. Well, thank you for commenting those. Keep those comments coming, okay? So this boot camp includes these things. 9 pre-recorded trainings that you can watch whenever you want to. Whenever you want to, guys. Okay? You can be in your PJs. You can be by the pool. Okay? You can just be laying in bed at night when you can't go to sleep, and then you can watch them anytime that you want to. They're all pre-recorded. That you're going to get into a pop-up Facebook group where you can connect and get support from me and other teachers. Okay? This is not the same Facebook group as today. This is a completely different one. You can get up to 9 CPE hours of credit. Guess what? I am CPE certified. In Texas, you have to be CPE certified to be able to grant hours to teachers. And so I am allowed to give you hours that count, okay, towards your PD credit. I will give you your certificate for however many modules that you purchase or win. And then if you win 1 module, that's 1 CPE hour of credit. If you purchase 5 modules, that's 5 hours. If you purchase all 9 of them, that's 9 hours, okay? So every module is worth 1 hour of credit. So you guys can get all your hours. I'm not saying all of them, because I know in my district we need 18. But I can at least give you some of them, okay? And then you can watch the trainings whenever you want to. So the Facebook group is a pop-up Facebook group where I'm going to come on live starting on July the 7th. And I'm going to give live Q&A. Okay, I'm going to give a live Facebook Live so you guys can ask me questions. You have access to all of the resources in the trainings that I'm sharing with you in the trainings. Okay, you have all of those already there for you in the modules. So what you see in the video is already there for you to download. Okay, that already comes with the training. So if I show you 5 resources in the training, the 5 resources are download for you to download in the bottom. You also have teacher challenges in the Facebook group. If you submit a question in the Facebook group, then your name is in a raffle for a $25 TPT or Amazon gift card. And at the very end of July, when the Facebook group closes, I'm going to be raffling off some names to win a gift card. So you have to be posting a question about anything that I'm training you on that I can answer in the live Q&A, okay? And then, of course, a peace of mind to start the school year, okay? So what are the modules? What are the modules? So classroom systems and organization, okay? Every module is $5, okay? So you can pick and choose whichever ones that you want to, okay? Now, if you are already interested in registering for the boot camp, there's already a link in the comments, okay? It says Back to School Bootcamp registration link. If you scroll all the way up to the very top of the comments, the link's already there. You can check it out. Any of these modules are sold separately. Okay, you do not have to buy all of them to get any of them. You can pick and choose. You can do 2, you can do 5, whatever you want to do. Okay, so classroom systems and organization is $5. Launching literacy centers is $5. First 10 days of readers workshop is $5. The first 10 days of writers workshop is $5. First 10 days of math workshop is $5. First 10 days of science is $5. First 10 days of social studies is $5. First 10 days of phonics is $5. Building relationships with students and parents is $5. So the total value of each module is $10, but you get that half off for only $5. That's a steal, okay? You can pick and choose any module that you want. Or if you feel like you want all of them, you can save $10 and you can buy the all-in-one course. The all-in-one course is $40. You get 2 modules for free if you buy the all-in-one course, okay? So if you click on the link, there's all the different modules that you can pick and choose. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, there is the all-in-one course that has all the modules. 9 modules are there, plus 2 free modules that are not included anywhere else, okay? So let me show you what's in the course. The course has every single module that is sold separately. Classroom systems organization, launching literacy centers, 10 days of readers workshop, 10 days of writers workshop, 10 days of math workshop, 10 days of science, 10 days of social studies, first 10 days of phonics, building relationships with students and parents, and then you get focus poetry also, okay? So the total value of the course is $50, but you get $10 off. You get 2 modules for free, so you get the course for $40, okay? So that is up to you. Now, that's not all. If you register today for any of the modules, when you get into the pop-up Facebook group, you're going to get 10 bonus resources for your classroom. Oh my gosh, 10 bonus resources. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link some resources such as like story companions for like our class as a family, or a letter from your teacher, or the recess queen, or chrysanthemum. All those story companions that I have taught you in the trainings are going to be in the Facebook group, and then you can download them whenever you want to, okay? Now, if you're in my membership, okay, I know Debbie and Janina are in my membership. You already have all of these courses. You have the course already in your membership. You have all the trainings already there for you, okay? You can still join the pop-up Facebook group, so you can help me and you can answer questions with me. You can ask questions if you want to. So you also are invited to join the pop-up Facebook group, because I know you are my biggest fans. You guys have been following me for a long, long time, okay? So you already have this course in your membership. So just know, anything that you register for, you already get 10 extra bonuses that are in my back to school toolkit on TPT. Okay, so you're going to get some bonuses. Plus, you're going to get my editable back to school slideshow in the Facebook group. So this is my slideshow I always use at the very beginning of the year, and it's editable. You can add any text that you want to on top of these slides. You can add any clip art that you want to on top of these slides. And so it has a back to school cover page. It has all about your teacher. So you can put pictures of you on here, your family, your dogs, your cats, your horses, whatever. And then you can make a list of things that you love. Talk about your favorites. You have slides about dismissal procedures. You have slides about your morning greeting procedures. You have slides for cafeteria, slides for recess, rules and procedures for all the systems that you have in your classroom: glue bottle, glue stick, pencils, markers, backpacks, how do we line up, how do we clean up. I mean, all of those slides. I think there's about 50 slides in this slideshow. So you're going to also get this in the pop-up Facebook group, okay? But you have to register for a module before you get into the pop-up Facebook group. That's important to know, okay? Now, when you register, then you get an email from Kajabi, okay? Kajabi's going to give you an email that tells you thank you for purchasing, and then it's going to give you a password. You need to have a password for the pop-up Facebook group. I'm not going to tell you what it is, okay? All right. So let's see. Do we have any questions? Let's see. Debbie says, can we watch them after they have been streamed? Yes, Debbie, you can watch them. Since you're already in the membership, Debbie, you can watch the trainings anytime, sweetie. Anytime you want to, okay? So, yeah, anytime, okay? You already have access to all of those things. So, all right, module number 1 is classroom setup and systems. Now, I'm going to go through each module with you in case you're wondering what each module entails, okay? So these are some pictures of my classroom. I have a farmhouse theme. So all of my colors are teal. I love teal. It's a very calming color. So it's a farmhouse theme with teal and sunflowers, okay? So up here, this is my library. You can see how my library is set up. And in the training, I'm going to share with you how I do all of this, okay? Plus much more, okay? Here in my mentor text, how I store my mentor text at the bottom. Here is my carpet area right here where I do my read alouds, my author's chair, okay? And then here's my my learning goals, how I do my objectives with my I Can cards, okay? This is my front window where it says Mrs. Rickman's Roost. It has a farmhouse theme. And then here's my writing center, my farmhouse writing center. So I want you to tell me in the comments, okay? I want you to think about your biggest stresses for setting up your classroom. Okay, something that you do not look forward to when you set up your classroom. Okay, so while you guys are thinking about that, go ahead and type it in. Okay, so in this training, you're going to learn tips and tricks for setting up your classroom, organizing your centers, student name tag tips and tricks. I have a very special hack that I use for name tags. How do I organize my teacher table? How do I organize my mentor text? How do I organize my thematic units? Okay, my student supplies. My student supplies include my journals. I have 4 journals that I have. In the training, I'll tell you what those are. And then my folders, center folder, work folder, clipboard, whiteboard, all those things. How do I organize all those things for the students? And then activities for the week. How do I organize my mentor text for the week, my copies for the week, my student examples for the week, okay? Okay, so Trakina says, not enough time at the beginning of the year. Absolutely, I get it. Not enough time to set up your classroom. I feel like we always have to work overtime, right? I'm going to share with you how I do my student data folders. I have data folders, and I'm going to show you what I put inside of them and how I keep track of things for their data. I'm going to teach you how I do my exit tickets, which are very quick and very easy to do. My rules and procedures for carpet, classroom, cafeteria, recess, and dismissal. And I'm also going to give you that slideshow that I was telling you about. That slideshow goes along with all of this. So these are the resources that you get with this module. This is only module number 1. And you get all of these resources. Look at this. You get my student data trackers for K through 3. You get my thematic unit binders, cover pages. You get my little book of exit tickets, okay? You get my library labels if you want to organize your library, okay? You get my days of the week labels if you want to organize your days of the week with your copies and your mentor text. And then these are my rules and procedure cards. So what I do with these is I laminate them and I put them on my pocket chart, okay? So when I do morning meeting, then I pull out some of the cards and we talk about those specific rules and procedures for everything, okay, for the classroom. You can also put these cards on your slideshow, okay? You can copy and paste, take a screenshot of them, and then put them on your slideshow. That's what I do too, okay? So let's see. Janina says, not enough room for all the things. Also, not enough shelves. My school district will not provide me with more classroom furniture. Oh, I know. That's unfortunate. I'm so sorry. But yes, I understand that. I had the same problem in my class whenever we first opened our new school. So I used a lot of crates. And crates really saved my life. Okay, I love using crates. Oh, you're welcome, Trakina. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Since moving is finding the time, the other teachers have not moved out. She's retiring. Oh, so you're going into a retired teacher's classroom. Wow, I hope you get lots of great stuff. That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, I know how you feel. I inherited lots of stuff from my mom when she retired. So module number 2, training number 2 is the first 10 days of Readers Workshop. Now, if you ever taught with a gradual release of responsibility, this is the I do, the we do, and the you do, okay? This is how I teach. And I'm going to train you in this module about how I do the I do, we do, and you do. I have explicit directions that I have typed out everything that you're going to say, okay? Everything. Like, I have typed out every single thing that I say with my kids. Whatever I have done in the past, and I know that it works, I have typed it out for you, okay? Very explicit directions on how to teach the gradual release of responsibility, okay? So, the first 10 days of Readers Workshop, you're going to get anchor charts that are already made for you, okay? You just have to print them out, and you can use them on your document camera. You can use them on your smartboard, okay? You're going to get interactive, differentiated interactive notebooks that are differentiated. I'm going to show you what they look like in just a second. But these are some that are already done. So this one says, how do we treat books? This one says, read to self. What does it look like and sound like? This one says, what's your schema? This one is can't is buried. That's one of my favorite ones. We do a whole lesson with can't, and we're going to bury it. So the kids cannot say that word in my classroom for the whole year. And then there's a picture of my kids doing their readers workshop here. Okay, so I want you to think back from last year when you taught reading, or if you taught reading. I know some of you haven't taught reading in a while, but if you taught reading, tell me one of your biggest stressors for starting your reading block, okay? Maybe you have a stressor with learning a new curriculum, because I know that some of us are getting new curriculum next year for reading. Now, these lessons can be for before you start your curriculum. If you want to have something to get your students started before you start your curriculum, this is it, okay? Or if you don't have a curriculum at all and you're free to choose whatever you want to use, this is perfect also, okay? So in the first 10 days of Reader's Workshop, you have lesson plans with objectives, suggested mentor text. I give you a whole list of mentor text for the first 10 days, okay? And I'm giving you interactive anchor charts. I'm giving you differentiated interactive notebooks. I'm giving you how to teach the I do, we do, and you do, explicit directions. I'm giving you rigor and relevance, because I know that if you teach in Texas, we have the T-tests, and I know administrators are looking for rigor and relevance when they do their observations. So in those explicit directions, I give you examples of how I teach my rigor and relevance, okay? All right, so, and then introducing your rules and procedures for reading. So I'm going to tell you the first 10 days and the lessons and what they are. Lesson number 1 is why do readers read? Now, I didn't say day number 1. I said lesson number 1 because lesson number 1 could actually be stretched into 2 days, okay? However many days it takes you to do lesson number 1, and any of these lessons can be stretched out because you can do the I do the first day, and then you can do the we do the second day, okay? Lesson number 2, what does reading time look like and sound like? Lesson number 3, how do we treat books? Lesson number 4, can't is buried. Lesson number 5, what is your schema? Lesson number 6 and 7 is retelling, beginning, middle, and end. And then lesson 8, 9, and 10 is text to self connection, okay? So again, these lessons can be done before you start your curriculum. They're also great if you don't have a curriculum. So in this module, you're going to get this lesson plan. This is what it looks like. It says lesson number 1, this is the first lesson, why do readers read? The objective is listed right here, and it says we can identify and explain why readers read. You have a suggested mentor text, which is Rocket Learn to Read. You have an anchor chart down here at the bottom. And then you have differentiated interactive notebooks, okay? Now, I have marked these interactive notebooks with a color code. The red means the below level, the green is the on level, and the yellow is the above level. So here's what I think about this, or you can think of it this way. The red can be the kindergarten, the first grade can be green, second or third grade can be yellow. Okay, that's how you can differentiate these lessons to meet all your different levels of your kids. And then here's an example of one of the interactive notebooks here at the bottom. Okay, you're going to shrink it down to 85%, depending on if you use composition notebooks or if you use the spirals. And then here is the explicit lesson plan for I do, we do, you do, and then you have an exit ticket at the bottom. Every single lesson that I've given you has either an exit ticket or a reflection at the end for the kids, okay? So it has a closing at the end of the lesson. So this is just lesson number 1. You're going to get 10 of these. 10 of those for a reader's workshop. Writer's workshop, same thing. 10 days of writer's workshop. Writing is my jam. I love teaching writing. I could teach writing all day long. All my kids that have been in my classroom during writer's workshop, they want to write all day. They love it so much because it is free choice of writing, free choice of genre. We're not writing to prompts, okay? That's journal writing. That's different. I don't use Writer's Workshop as a center. My Writer's Workshop is the I do, we do, and you do, gradual release of responsibility. So you can see here there's some interactive notebooks that I use. Here's Write from Your Heart, this one right here at the bottom. This one is working on writing. Like, what do we do when we're writing? We're drawing pictures, we're writing words, we're thinking, we're sitting quietly, okay? And then we have drawing yourself as an author or an illustrator. Right here, you can start tiny moments. I'm going to teach you what tiny moments are in the training, and then this is the brainstorming page that you use for the tiny moments. They're going to give a detail. They're going to give 4 details, and then they start writing their story, beginning, middle, and end. And then here's an example of my daughter Kennedy when she was in my class. This was her first published book with her gold sticker, and I call them their Caldecott Award. Okay, so I want you to think about your biggest stressors when it comes to writing. I know a lot of teachers don't like to teach writing, and I get it, y'all. I get it. And it's hard. It's daunting, right? We don't ever get a lot of training on how to teach writing. In my district, at least, we don't. Okay? You probably have the same problem. But tell me one of your biggest stressors for teaching writing, okay? So think about that, and then you can comment. Barbara says, I need that I can't is buried. My kids would love that. Oh, good, Barbara. Yes. That's a perfect lesson. And a perfect mentor text you can read for that one is The Little Engine That Could. I love reading that story. Okay, so the first 10 days of Writer's Workshop, you're going to get lesson plans with objectives. You're going to get suggested mentor texts with each lesson. You're going to get interactive anchor charts with each lesson. You're going to get differentiated interactive notebooks with each lesson. You're going to get 3 of them, which are the 3 different levels. How I teach the I do, we do, and you do, gradual release of responsibility, rigor and relevance, and introducing rules and procedures for Writer's Workshop. Okay? So lesson number 1 is write from your heart. Lesson number 2, what does writing time look like and sound like? So again, each lesson can be divided into 2 days. Okay? Because you can do the I do one day and the we do the second day. Okay? So Natalie says, students saying I am done in minutes. Yep, I hear you, Natalie. I know, they do that. I'm done. Now what do I do, right? I tell them in writing, you're never done, okay? You're never done. You're always going to start a new story all the time, okay? So, and they're looking at me like, what? But that's part of the training I'm going to give you in this module, okay? Number 3, lesson number 3, what is a dictionary? You're going to show them what they're going to use as a dictionary. Number 4, what is an author and illustrator? Number 5, creating a mental image for your first story. Number 6, tiny moments, okay? You're going to start introducing tiny moments. The brainstorming starts first. Lesson number 7 is tiny moments retelling beginning, middle, and end. Okay, and then lesson number 8, retelling beginning, middle, and end. I have writing templates for all of this, okay, that you can use. I'm trying to make it as streamlined as possible so you don't have to stress out over writing. Lesson number 9 is final draft, and then lesson number 10 is publishing, okay? So this is what lesson number 1 looks like. Write from your heart. So you have an objective. You draw and label pictures of special things to write about, okay? You get an anchor chart that looks like this. What can we write about? Don't know where to start? Just write from your heart. You're going to have a mentor text that is called I Love to Write. And then here is the 3 differentiated interactive notebooks that have the color codes. So red is kindergarten, first grade is green, second grade is yellow. Okay. Here's an example of one of the interactive notebooks right here. Write from your heart. Okay. And then you're going to have the explicit I do, we do, you do, and then a reflection at the end, which is the kids sit in the author's chair and they share what they did for the day, okay? All right, so moving on to Math Workshop. So Math Workshop is so much fun. It is so engaging. It is so fun for the kids. My kids love Math Workshop because there's all different kinds of components of it. It's not just they sit at their desk the whole time, okay? They're moving around. We do a mini lesson, we do calendar, we do mini lesson, and then I break off into my stations. Okay, so in this training, I'm going to give you a game, some different interactive notebooks for the first 10 days of school. We're going to make a graph for the first day. They're going to count the letters of their name. This is an example, and then they're going to write a number bond for the letters of their name. I'm going to teach you independent practice games such as gumball machine graphing, graphing Legos, and then how to get your kids started with manipulatives and taking care of manipulatives, how to store them, how to organize them, and how to get the kids to understand to take care of your things so that they don't throw them across the room, they don't leave them on the floor, they don't put them in their mouth. I'm going to teach you all of those rules and procedures, okay? So tell me one of your biggest stressors for starting your math block. Maybe you're getting a new curriculum this year for math. I know a lot of us in Texas are getting Bluebonnet. I know we are. We had Eureka Math. Now it's changed over to Bluebonnet. So it's supposed to be the same, and I'm hoping it is. But tell me your biggest stressors for math, okay? Also, I'd like to know how many minutes you have to teach math. Okay, we have 90 minutes in our district. So you're going to get the first 10 days of math workshop with suggested mentor text, objectives, anchor charts, interactive notebooks, the I do, we do, and you do with an exit ticket at the end, rigor and relevance, and introducing rules and procedures. So lesson number 1 is graphing how we get home. This is the very first day of school that I do, the very first day of school. And then lesson number 2, what is a mathematician? And again, these can be separated into 2 days. You can do the I do the first day, the we do the second day. Number 3 and number 4 is what is math workshop. Okay, this is where we introduce the manipulatives and we start rotating the manipulatives for the different stations. So number 3, 4, and 5, I go explicitly in the directions on how to teach that. Okay, I have a table captain that's in charge of handing out the supplies, and I teach you how to use a table captain. Number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9 is all adding sums of 10. But each lesson has a different mentor text that you're going to use, a different anchor chart, a different interactive notebook, and it has different manipulatives. Okay, so for example, one of the days is you're going to read Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons, and then you're going to use buttons that day. One of the days you're going to read about gumballs, counting gumballs, and then you're going to teach them how to play the gumball graphing. So it's a lot of fun interactive things that goes along with each day. So this is lesson number 1. How do we get home? So the objective is we can create and compare how we go home on a graph. Okay, you're going to read Donald Cruz's School Bus, and then here's the graph here that they're going to graph how we go home. And then this is a really great visual for me to know who goes home on the bus, who goes home on the car, the walkers, the daycare. And then we make a class graph that looks like this. Okay, and then they can color in their graph and they can glue it in their math journal for the first math journal that they can color. And then you're going to show them this anchor chart that shows the different graphs, pie graphs, bar graphs, picture graphs, tally marks. Okay. Let's see. Janina says, my stressor is my students playing with the manipulatives instead of using them to help solve problems. Yes, Janina, I know that is a stressor, and I teach you in the training about how to eliminate that. Not completely eliminate, but how to problem solve and get the kids more engaged so they don't do those things. So, moving on to the first 10 days of science. Science, I feel like, can be so fun, so engaging. The problem is with science, sometimes there's not enough time, right? Science and social studies kind of get left on the back burner sometimes. So science can be so fun. You can also incorporate science when you teach cross-curricular. You can also do science with reading in some of your units throughout the year if you need to get more time. So I feel like the research part of science can be done in reading. Nonfiction can be done in reading with science and reading together. So here is an example of my theme center. I'm going to show you in the training about how I set up my science theme center. These are my kiddos with their lab coats. I have lab coats and goggles that we wear when we do our Fahrenheit Friday science investigations. I'm going to show you some easy lessons for the first 10 days that include properties and the 5 senses. So you get differentiated interactive notebooks for sorting properties by color, sorting properties by texture. So these are some examples. I'm going to give you a very easy, quick science experiment that you can do the first day of school. The first day of school, it's called the blooming flower. So here's an example of what it looks like. And then you're going to get an interactive notebook that has the first science experiment for the blooming flower. So tell me, what is your biggest stressor for starting your science block? What are you stressed out about? Maybe you're getting a new curriculum for science. And maybe tell me how many minutes you have for science, okay? That you're supposed to have for science, right? And then you guys can think about that and then comment, okay? Keep those comments coming, because at the end, I'm going to be picking one person to win a free module. Don't forget to keep commenting, okay? So the first 10 days of science is just like the reading and the writing and the math. You get lesson plans for 10 days with objectives. You get mentor text, suggested mentor text. You get an anchor chart for each lesson, differentiated interactive notebooks, how to teach the I do, we do, and you do, rigor and relevance, and then introducing the rules and procedures for science. So here are the lessons that you get with the training. Number 1 is, what is science? Okay, and again, you can separate this into 2 days if you want to do the I do the first day, the we do the second day. Okay. Lesson number 2 is, what is the scientific method? Lesson 3, what is a scientist? Lesson 4 and 5 is, what are science tools? Lesson 6 is sorting properties by touch. Lesson 7, sorting properties by sight. Lesson 8, sorting properties by touch. Lesson 9, sorting properties by smell. Lesson 10, sorting properties by taste. Okay? So this is lesson number 1, and it shows you what lesson number 1 looks like. What is science? The objective is identify and discuss what a scientist can do. Okay? And then here's your anchor chart. What is a scientist? Here is your flower experiment. First, then, next, and last. And then I have the I do, we do, and you do, and an exit ticket for science. And then here's a picture of the blooming flower. And in the training, I specifically tell you how to do that. It's very fun, very easy, something you can do the first day of school. So Natalie says, not enough time in the day. Yes, I agree. Janina says, we have 30 minutes for science, having the materials needed for the lessons. Oh yeah, gathering all the materials. And so in my school, in my neighborhood, we have carts. We have science carts. And so I always do my science experiment investigations on Fridays. And so I load up my cart with all the materials that I need. And so I just move my cart in my classroom that I already have all the materials on it. So usually on Thursday afternoon is when I load up the cart with the materials that I need for my experiment. So if you don't have a cart, a science cart, you might need to, maybe that would be something that you can buy this year with your district, your budget money, okay? All right, so moving on to social studies, first 10 days of social studies. Now, this is my All About Me unit, my cross-curricular unit, and also creating order, okay, with rules and procedures for social studies, okay? So here I have my family tree that I also use from my parent night. So we make a family tree, and then I lay this on their desk for parent night. We have focus poetry. They're going to read a poem called Special Me, and then we glue it in our interactive notebook. So I'm going to give you the poem that goes along with the unit. And then when we read the King and Queen of Kindergarten, I actually change it to the King and Queen of First Grade. So I have in this resource, I have differentiated notebooks that you can have for kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, which will work for any of those 3 grade levels. So here's the King and Queen, and then they write about how they're going to be a king and queen of the classroom. How are they going to follow the rules? What are they going to do? And then I show you in the training how I make my social contract, okay, with my kids. So tell me one of your biggest stressors for starting social studies. I think I already know what you guys are going to say. You probably don't have enough time, right? Social studies is a little bit like science, where you can also do social studies with reading throughout the year if you need time. I do social studies with reading a lot to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But, or what I like to do also is I like to do 2 weeks of science and 2 weeks of social studies, and I flip-flop. Okay? So that's another way that you can get in your time. So the first 10 days of social studies, this is lesson plans with objectives, suggested mentor text. You get anchor charts for 10 days. You get interactive notebooks for 10 days. You get the explicit I do, we do, you do, rigor and relevance, and introducing your rules and procedures. So lesson number 1, our class as a family. Okay, that's one of the bonus resources that I'm going to give you in the Facebook group. Lesson number 2, a letter from your teacher. That's also another bonus I'm going to give you in the Facebook group. Lesson number 3 and 4, we are kings and queens. Okay, that's another bonus I'm going to give you in the Facebook group. Lesson number 5 is creating a mental image. Lesson number 6, comparing rules. We compare rules at school and home. Okay. Lesson number 7, what is self-awareness? Okay. Lesson number 8, I can show self-awareness. How can I show that? Lesson number 9 is social awareness. And number 10, I can show social awareness. Lesson number 1 is our class as a family. And so this is where we make our social contract, our class promise. What are we going to do when we have conflict in our class? What are we going to do? How are we going to treat Miss Rickman? How's Miss Rickman going to treat you? Okay, how are we going to treat each other? So we make a social contract, we make a class promise. So I train you how to do that in the training. Okay, so Tracy says no curriculum. Yep, no curriculum for social studies. So if you need any curriculum for social studies, this is it. Okay, you can use this, definitely. And then Janina says, we really do not have social studies curriculum. Yep, I get it. I get it. Social studies is really hard to find. We have Social Studies Weekly, the newspapers that we use, the weekly newspapers, but I don't really like those too much. So I've just created my own things. So you're welcome to use what I use. Okay. So you have a mentor text, our class as a family. You have differentiated interactive notebooks. You have the red, which is kindergarten. You have the green, which is the first grade, and the yellow, which is the second grade. Here's the example of the interactive notebook. They're going to write rules in the classroom. And then you have the I do, we do, and you do, plus an exit ticket. Okay? So, moving on to phonics. Now, phonics, I know that a lot of us don't have curriculum for phonics either, and that you're just like creating things as you go. And some of us have phonics. So these are some things that you can use before you start your phonics program to get them, kind of review their phonics. So my phonics lessons are typically for first grade and second grade. Okay. Not really for kindergarten because I'm not reviewing ABCs. I'm reviewing CVC words. Okay. Now, if some of your kindergartners are ready for these, then by all means use them. So these are examples of what I have in this training. I'm going to give you some word family lists, like the at family, am family, app family. This is short A and short U. Okay. Now, if you teach kindergarten and you want to wait and start this in January, that's great. You can start in January after you do your ABC Bootcamp. Okay. I'm going to give you a word wall sight word folder that you can have your kids write sight words or heart words if you use heart words from your sound wall. Okay, so I'm going to give you a folder that looks like this. You can create folders for your kids. I use these folders at my small group reading table. I'm going to give you some passages that have word family passages for short A and short U for the first 10 days. Okay, so this is what the passage looks like. They have to answer a question at the bottom. So I just put these in a clear plastic sleeve and I give them an expo marker and we read the passage together after we spend a whole week with the word family. Here's my sound wall. I'm going to give you, this is in the training, I'm going to give you my sound wall that you can put in your classroom, the one that I created. So Tracy says, what phonics phonemic awareness curriculum do you use? We use 95% phonics, and I also use Heggerty. Okay, now I use Heggerty every single day. We don't start our phonics lessons right away in my school district. I think we start the second week of school. So I use part of this curriculum that I've written, part of these lessons that I start the first week, and then we start our curriculum. So this is what you could use before you start your curriculum. There's also craftivities in this training you can use for the short U. They're going to make a bug and then they're going to write short U words around the bug. There's also one for the at family as well. And then I have word family houses if you want to make a booklet of word families. Okay. So tell me one of your biggest stressors for starting your phonics block. Okay. Tell me one of your biggest stressors for that. But Tracy, that was an excellent question. So on the first 10 days of phonics, I have lesson plans with objectives, suggested mentor text, anchor charts, which are interactive. Okay. I love to use Post-it notes on my interactive anchor charts. It's so much fun. I pre-make all my anchor charts with the borders and the pictures, and then the kids do the meat of the lesson on the Post-it notes. I have differentiated interactive notebooks. I do, we do, and you do, rigor and relevance, and rules and procedures. So here are the first 10 days. Lesson number 1, again, can be divided into 2 days. Short A, spelling house. Okay. Lesson number 2, short A, word family practice. Number 3 is short A, word family practice. They have 2 different ones. I have 2 different ones with 2 different interactive notebooks. Lesson number 4 is the short A, craftivity with the cat. Lesson number 5 is the short A, passage with a comprehension question. Okay, number 6 is the short U, spelling house. They're going to write a list of short U words. So you can use UG for the UG family. Lesson number 7, the short U word family practice. Number 8, short U word family practice. Lesson number 9 is the short U craftivity with the bug. And then the lesson number 10 is the short U passage and comprehension. Okay. Now, if you get through all these 10 lessons and you're like, hey, wait, Kara, what about the short E? What about the short O? What about short I? Well, if you let me know, I can link the other lessons for you to check out because I have all of that in my TPT store. Okay. Here is what the lesson number 1 looks like. You have the objective here. Lesson, we can read and spell words with short A. Here's the word family house that you can have them start. And then you can just add more pages to it as you go and learn different word families. Okay. And then you're going to get a suggested mentor text. I love using the phonics tales, the grammar tales, word family tales packs. There's a pack of these books on Amazon, or I think they're from Lakeshore also, but on Amazon you can get this package of books that have all the word families. They're so cute. They have word family stories with each different word family. It is so fun. Okay. And then here is the word family list that you can put on your smartboard. Then here's the passage, the short A, decodable. It's all decodable word passages. And then you have to draw a picture of the passage. They're going to count how many short A words that are in the passage. And then here is the question at the bottom. Okay. There's the I do, we do, and you do, and the exit ticket. All right. Moving on to the next module is building relationships with students and parents. Okay. So I'm going to share with you how I do my Meet the Teacher night and my parent night. Okay. I'm going to share with you how I do my class promise, my social contract, how I use a star student as a peer facilitator, and I set up a VIP table. Okay. For my star student. I'm also going to share with you how I do my class economy using bonus bucks. So, speaking of behavior management, I want you to tell me one of your biggest stressors for behavior management, okay? Think about last year's class that you had. Think about something that was challenging for you with the class you had last year with behavior management. I can tell you right now that probably the number one thing teachers always say is that what I'm doing doesn't work, okay? Well, in the training, I'm going to share with you how I use a classroom economy using bonus bucks, okay? A lot of the things that I hear teachers saying is that they don't follow through with their behavior management, okay? Here's one thing that I've learned over the years is you have to be consistent. You always follow through with what you say. I always say to my class, I mean what I say and I say what I mean. They may not like it, but I always follow through with what I say, because if you don't, you know what's going to happen, right? The kids are going to run all over you, and they're not going to believe you when you say, oh, if you do this, this is going to happen. If this happens, then this happens. And if you don't follow through, forget it, okay? So I know it's hard to keep being consistent, okay? That's more work for you, but you know what? As much as you're consistent, the more you're consistent, the better your kids are going to show up for you. I promise, okay? So that's what I teach you in this training. So I'm going to also teach you my morning meeting schedule using mentor texts and activities for my morning meeting using the grade 8 skills. Now, if you're not familiar with grade 8 skills are, just to name some of them, there's social awareness, there's self-awareness, which I already have in the social studies lessons. There's responsibility. There is growth mindset. There's all different ones. There's 8 of them, okay? I'm going to teach you how to build a social contract with your class and why we build a social contract and the questions you need to ask your class, okay? I'm also going to teach you how to do conflict resolution with iMessages, how to teach your kids how to do iMessages. I'm going to share with you how I do my effective parent communication through Meet the Teacher Night, through Parent Night, through Seesaw, and through my weekly newsletters, okay? I'm going to share with you how I use my STAR student and my peer facilitator and all the jobs that my STAR student has, okay? It's going to relieve you of stresses. Trust me, if you have a STAR student, it's the best thing I ever did. And then my bonus bucks as a classroom economy. So there's 4 different resources that you get with this training. You get my bonus bucks. You're going to get my classroom economy bonus bucks, okay? That goes along with the treasure box and how I train my kids to say thank you when they get called on. All of those different tricks and how to use a STAR student. I'm going to give you my school supply labels for Meet the Teacher Night that you can put on your crates. I'm going to give you my transportation tags that you can use for Meet the Teacher. I'm also going to give you my editable back to school forms. I have a newsletter that I use that's editable. I have forms for Meet the Teacher Night and Parent Night that I have the parents fill out. And also my transportation tags and getting to know you for your teacher, your favorite, all your favorites for Meet the Teacher Night, okay? So all of my back to school Meet the Teacher Night tips and tricks are in this training, okay? And then last but not least, launching literacy centers, okay? My literacy centers are so fun and engaging. The kids love them. I have 20 of them in my classroom. I know that sounds overwhelming. I'm not saying you have to do all 20 of them, but you might get some ideas for some new centers that you've never thought of. So this is my calendar. This is my Focus Poetry Center right here, my Poetry Center. This one is my Felt Board Center. And if you notice, the kids are writing. All of my centers have a writing piece that they have to do with the centers, okay? And then this is the Kitchen Center. I have a Kitchen Center that I switch out every month, and it's all writing, how-to, procedural writing for how to make something, okay? This one down here is my Finger Puppets, okay? So she's reading the poem, and then she's going to answer questions about her poem. Then this is my library. They use their book buddies to read in the library, and then they have questions they have to answer for their book that they read. And then this is the math. This is the calendar. Actually, he's doing calendar. He's doing the clock. And then you can see the math manipulatives in the background right here. So this is math and calendar together. Okay, so I want you to think about what is your biggest stressor for managing your literacy centers. Tell me in the comments, how many literacy centers do you have? How many literacy centers did you have last year? Okay, I'm not judging you, I promise. If you have 1 or 2, that's fine. That's fine. If you have 10, that's fine. Tell me how many centers you had and what is your number 1 stressors about managing them. Okay, so in this training, I'm going to share with you how I launch my centers from day 1. Okay, not necessarily the first day of school, but the first week. So maybe if we start on Monday, maybe by Thursday, by Wednesday or Thursday, then I start introducing my centers. You're going to see all my 20 centers up close and personal. I'm going to share with you what I put in each center and how I store them, how I manage them, if I change them out or not for each month. Okay, my rules and procedures for my centers, because I have a lot of rules, and then my behavior management system that I use for my centers, my center rotation chart, and how my students know where to go. Okay. And then because I have a chart that they have to look at for each week, and I share with you how I do that. And then I rotate the chart each Monday. So Natalie says 10 noise level. So you had 10 centers, Natalie, and then the noise level was high. Yep. I'm going to teach you in the training how to keep the noise level low. Okay, I have a trick for that. How I keep my students accountable for their centers. Okay, so this is another thing that I hear from teachers. My kids are at my centers, but they play and they're not engaged in the activities that I have for them. They're talking, they're playing, they're being silly, they're rolling around on the carpet. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I know. So I have some tricks for that, okay? I'm going to share with you how I use my center folder, my templates, and my checklists, okay? My kids have to bring their center folder with them to centers. Inside their center folder, they have a checklist. They have all of their pages that they're working on for their centers. This is a big accountability piece right there, okay? I'm going to share with you how I keep them engaged and on task, okay? I'm going to share with you which centers I switch out weekly, monthly, or not at all. Some of my centers that stay the same the whole year, okay? I don't switch out all of them. There's only a handful of them that I switch out. My 4 literacy center resources, my farmhouse and my rainbow theme, I have some resources that I'm going to give you with this training, okay? And then, of course, you get extra support from me in the Facebook group. If you have any problems, any concerns, any questions, in the Facebook group, you can comment any questions, and then I will answer them for you and help you. This is the resource, one of them that you're going to get. This has the templates for each center. It has the icons that I use for my rotation chart, big and small, so you can put the big one on the center and the small one on your chart. It has the I can cards, because every center has I can cards that go along with them. Okay. All right. Phew. Those are all of the modules, y'all. Okay, there's 9 different modules. And remember, in the link, you can scroll up all the way till the top. I'm going to actually link it again here. If you're interested in checking out all of my modules, here it goes. I'm going to give you the link in the comments right here. So you can check out all the modules, and then you can pick and choose which one you would like. So I have a Q&A right here of questions that some teachers have asked me in the past. When will the first live Q&A be in the pop-up Facebook group? Okay, so on July the 7th, I'm going to give you, if you purchase them today, you have a couple of weeks to watch any of the trainings, okay? You have a couple of weeks to watch them. You have a couple of weeks to write down any questions. Every single training has a workbook. So you can print out the workbook, and then you can write down your questions, okay, in the workbook. So on July the 7th at 10 o'clock, that will be the first time that I come on live in the pop-up Facebook group, and then I will answer all your questions. Okay, I'm going to come on live at least 4 times, okay, because that pop-up Facebook group will be there until the end of July, okay, because more teachers are going to come into the Facebook group as they purchase the boot camp, okay. So as more teachers come in, I'm not just going to give one Q&A. I'm going to give at least 4 of them, okay. So what if I cannot watch the live Q&As? Can I watch the replays? Yes, absolutely. The Q&As will be in the Facebook group until I close the Facebook group on Saturday, August the 2nd. Okay, you have the whole month to watch those Q&As. Okay, remember, if you submit a question in the Facebook group, then your name gets put in a raffle. Okay, so how do we register for the boot camp? There's already a link in the comments to register. I just put a link. It's a Kajabi link. Okay, so I just put that in there. You guys can click on it. You can decide which modules you want to purchase. And then as soon as you purchase or register, you're going to get an email from Kajabi. Kajabi will send you an email with your username and password to get into the training, okay? And then you can start watching it whenever you want to, okay? It's also going to give you a password for the pop-up Facebook group to join, okay? How do I join the pop-up Facebook group? Well, again, you're going to get an email from Kajabi, so make sure to check your email, okay, after you register. How are we going to get the resources to go with the trainings? Underneath each module, whenever, let's say that you purchase Launching Literacy Centers, underneath that module, you're going to have a download place where all the resources there are there for you to download. Okay, they're all there with the training, all there. Same with the course. If you decide you want to do the all-in-one course and save $10, underneath each module, all the resources are there for you to download. Okay. How long is the registration going to be open? So for this round, the registration is open today, from today until June 22nd. So it's going to be open for 1 week. Okay. You can decide if you want to purchase today or if you want to, think about it for a couple more days. But so here's the thing. By Wednesday or Thursday, the price is going to go up to $6 instead of $5, okay? So if you want the $5 registration fee for each module, you need to purchase today, tomorrow, or Tuesday, okay? By Wednesday, the price is going to go up to $6, okay? So you might want to purchase it before the price changes, okay? How do I win a $25 gift card? So if you submit a question in the Facebook group, then I will put your name in a raffle, okay? And then at the end of the last Facebook Live will be at the very end of July, and then at the last one, then I will raffle off a name, okay? How do we get our 6-hour certificate? Or actually 9 hours, I need to change that. You could get up to 9 hours. For each module that you purchase, you get 1 hour of PD credit, okay? And then I will post that in the Facebook group for you to print out, okay? So however many modules you purchase, if you purchase the all-in-one course that has 11, it has 10 courses in it, 10 modules, you get 10 hours. If you purchase 2 modules, you get 2 hours. If you purchase 5 modules, you get 5 hours, okay? Does that make sense? Where are the trainings and modules located? So you are going to get an email from Kajabi, okay? Some of you may not be familiar with Kajabi, but it's the housing platform that I house all of the trainings on, okay? If you're in my membership and you already have this all-in-one course in your membership, so you're going to go to My Library at the top of the menu, click on My Library, and then it's going to be there for you, okay? The trainings are going to be there forever. Once you purchase a module, you're going to have it forever. You can watch it forever. You can watch it 10 times if you want to, okay? As many times as you want. What if I have a question? How can I connect with you? So you can message me on Facebook. Use Facebook Messenger to ask me a question. You can post a question in our group here, okay? Or you can email me at rickmankara@gmail.com, okay? What if I purchased a module and then I decide I want to purchase another one later? Can I still do that? Yes, you can. Since you have already made a purchase today or this week, if you already purchased one this week and you decide, hey, Kara, I want to purchase like the literacy centers. I didn't do that one yet. Yes, absolutely. If you already purchased something, you can always purchase another one, okay? Even if the registration has closed, you can still purchase at the original price that you got the first one. So if you purchase one for $5 today, you can purchase another one for $5, okay? Okay, here's what others are saying about my boot camp. I had a lot of lovely ladies in my boot camp last year. So Jelaine was in my boot camp last year, and so she says, if you haven't done this boot camp with Kara Rickman, do it. She's got some great ideas, lots of freebie files, and even this 35-year veteran got new information and got recharged for the year. So thank you, Jelaine, for that. And then Misty was also in my boot camp. She says, this boot camp has been so amazing. I have been a teacher since '95, and I'm still learning new ways to do things. Just when I thought I should relax for the summer, I attended Kara Rickman's boot camp, and now my brain is on fire. And with all of the thoughts about how to do things differently next school year, this boot camp is absolutely worth it. I would have paid $35 for the first day. And then Adrian says, this boot camp is going to be a lifesaver for me this year. I have worked in pre-K for 10 years, 9 as a parent and 1 as a lead. This will be my first year in first grade. I have been so overwhelmed thinking of where to start on the first week, and Kara's boot camp walks you through every single step of the way. I already feel so much more confident than I did before. So thank you so much, Kara. Thank you. So Adrian, thank you for that. And Janina says, I wholeheartedly recommend the first week of School Bootcamp to all my K through 2 teachers. It's a fantastic way to set a positive tone for the year, build a strong classroom community, and establish effective routines and procedures. If you're looking for a way to start the school year on the right foot, this bootcamp is definitely worth attending. Thanks, Janina. I know she's here today. And then Susan said, I too have been teaching many years. I felt I wanted a refresher. Wow, did I find it? Kara Rickman's bootcamp was exactly what I needed. She's very thorough and complete, and I'm so excited to implement many of her tried and true workshops. Many thanks, Kara. And then Allison said, I wish that you could do our staff PD. Oh my gosh. You are a great teacher. I hope to be much better this year. You are awesome. So thanks, ladies. I really appreciate y'all's feedback. So it is time to pick a winner. Okay? So let's see. How about Natalie Oswald? Yay, Natalie! Natalie, you're going to be my winner today, okay? Natalie Oswald. Congratulations, Natalie. So you are going to pick a module that you are interested in. I'm going to message you the instructions on Facebook Messenger. Okay, Natalie? So if you're here, tell me if you're still here, Natalie. Okay, so thank you so much for commenting. Thank you for everybody who showed up today. Remember, the registration link is in the comments. Don't forget to download your freebie. Okay, go up to the very, very top of the comments and make sure you download the back to school checklists. Okay, if you have any questions about the boot camp, please message me on Facebook Messenger, or you can email me, rickmankara@gmail.com, or you can post a question in our Facebook group. So I cannot wait to see you guys inside of my boot camp. I have worked so hard to bring all of this fabulousness to you, and I hope that it pays off. So please let me know if you have any questions. Until next time, let's take your classroom to the next level. I love you guys.